Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I am going to jump into this one. This is the weekly chart that has been updated. This is Monday's activity. And you can see on the weekly chart, we slipped into kind of almost a 3.5 point zone of support. Horizontal channel bottom at 127 even, and a rising 5-month channel bottom at 130.46. As I've been mentioning, this is bottom picking territory on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, it comes in at a more precise 127 even to 128.61. So if you're looking for kind of optimal price location, bottom picking the market where we could bottom out here actually not only for the week, but really through the first quarter. I see this area as one that may well contain selling. As we look back in March, April, May, this may have been the area to buy as we then market likely, possibly, likely. I don't usually like to use the word likely, but I do think, the market more inclined to trade up from here than down. There's another way of saying it, I suppose. But I think you can, as far as trading goes, you can buy 127 even to 130.46 in anticipation of over the next, let's just call it the next 2 to 3 months, that rising 5-month channel top that is now roughly 170.73. We will have to dial that in a little bit better. I mean, I don't think that's the exact channel top, but let's just call it the low 170s. That does sort of align with a longer term channel top on the weekly chart at 182.73, which is this 1-year structure that I'm looking for, and there it is. So, what am I saying? I am saying that if you're bottom picking, that upper 120s to low 130s, it really is an opportunity to buy the market. Let's just call it back into the low 150s again within 2 to 3 weeks, and over the next 2 to 3 months, all the way into perhaps the lower 180s, preceded by, a respectable channel top on the weekly chart at 170.73. So the 170s, 180s, both of which are climbing in reach over the next 2 to 3 months, holding above 127 even to 128.26. Now, in terms of the upside today, I do have 138.53. I don't know if we'll see that today. Preceding that is 133.40, and that is nothing more than a simple trend line, that red line off some lows. 133.40 may well contain intraday buying pressures, as you can see lower right, and below which we can ease back into the 127 to 128.61 region. We do have 130.46, and that is once again on the weekly chart, the same 5-month channel bottom that we find on the daily chart at 128.61. So if you want to act on 130.46, you certainly can. But if you want to fine tune it in terms of the daily chart, it is 127 even to 128.61. We have essentially tested it. So at least on the weekly chart we have. And so I'm going to say that rather than once we test the 127 even to 128.61 area, we can expect higher trade into the later first quarter. I'm saying holding above 127 even to 128.61, we should see higher trade into the second quarter. Anticipating 138.53 over the next day or two, possibly 144.46 over the next 3 to 5 days. Now this channel bottom we settled below last week set off the sell signal that we have seen play out over the last few days. We have reached the objective in the upper 120s, low 130s, 127 even to 128.61. And if we happen to round back up to 144.46 sooner than later, it is a solid resistance level that can contain weekly buying pressures, but it's climbing at a pretty good pace. And I think if we happen to trade, how should I put this? If we happen to open up higher on the day, I mean, yesterday's high, as you can see, was 133.49. And so if we open above 133.40 and 133.49, that is a gap closer from Friday's low. And yes, can yield 138.53 today. 138.53 is that 3/8 upside Fibonacci over the last full week of activity. It can contain daily buying pressures. We might even fall away from here back into what is the upper 120s, back into the 127 even to 128.61 region within 3 to 5 days of testing 138.53. Now, so holding above 127 even to 128.61. We'll keep 152.89 in reach again over the next 2 to 3 weeks. What is the buy signal for anticipating that? At this stage, early in the week still, it would be above 144.46, but this is pulling away at such a steep rate that I venture to say closing above 138.53 is likely your upward pivot point as we continue through the rest of the week and into next week. If we were to close today above 138.53, I think we could, by the end of next week, push back into the lower 150s, 152.89. And if at some point, I will say that this will be reduced, 144.46, to just a session containment level only, because it just keeps climbing away and eventually just intraday as it approaches 152.89. So I do see, and I'm not showing it well in the support resistance, there should be an up pivot point at 138.53, and I could reduce 144.46 to a session containment level, but it is early enough in the week where we could top out at 144.46 for the week itself and then fall back away from it. But as we, over the next week, this converges with 152.89, I do think we'll have to start leaning more on those Fibonacci levels as our pivot point. Because of the steep decline, the line studies are just lacking coming down. So closing above 138.53, I see no good reason to stay short NVIDIA as we move into later week. Yes, 144.46 can give this market trouble on the way up, possibly containing buying through the rest of the week. But as I say, holding above the 127 even to 128.46 region now maintains a 2 to 3 week target at 152.89. And if we close today above 138.53, we should see 152.89 again by the end of next week. Now for the downside, and that does need to be covered, and that is to say that a settlement below 127 even, which I don't see likely today, but it is certainly possible, and it is certainly possible later in the week. While NVIDIA is showing a testing of meaningful support right now in the 127 even to 128.61 region, it should be noted that the triple Q and the NASDAQ 100 threw off a significant long-term buy signal rejection. In other words, it rejected a long-term buy signal from about a month and a half ago, which does imply a likely selling pressures building in the triple Q and NASDAQ 100 as we move into February trade. And so there is a very real possibility that NVIDIA could close below 127 even. I don't want to read too much into the NASDAQ 100 activity. Let's just go with plain, simple price activity in NVIDIA, that if we close below 127 even, no good reason to be long NVIDIA. As we move through the rest of January and into February, I would expect 114.54 within 1 to 2 weeks, and this 103.16 formation within 3 to 5 weeks. So closing below 127 even, you might actually reach for 105 strike out of the money puts that don't expire for at least a couple of months, 2-3 months out. Until then, as we're testing the upper 120s, you could, I'm talking 2 to 3 week swing traders, reach for 150, 155 strike out of the money calls that don't expire for at least 6 weeks or so. And yes, you could actually reach for, 180, 175, 185, kind of take your pick up here out of the money calls. This is a 2 to 3 month move possibility, given the testing of long-term support that did play out yesterday, this 182 area in reach over the next 2 to 3 months. And you could probably narrow that, to within 3 to 5 weeks if we were to then close, of course, above 152.89. But yes, if you're bottom picking the upper 120s, low 130s right now, you could reach for the 170, 180, 185 strike out of the money calls that don't expire for, I would go 6 months out on that 2 to 3 month possible play. And it does narrow to within probably 3 to 5 weeks if we close above 152.89 over the next couple of weeks. Is there anything else to say? No, I think I've said it all. I'm going to leave it at that. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com where you can find daily triple Q, daily SPY analysis, 2 individual stock picks a week that cater to 3 to 5 week out to 3 to 5 month position traders. Also, weekly Apple stock, weekly S&P 500, weekly NASDAQ 100. Check us out at wickedstocks.com. We offer a 5-day free trial up front. So if you don't like what you see, you can bail out within 5 days at no cost to you whatsoever. That is all I have for Tuesday's NVIDIA. I'll be back tomorrow with Wednesdays, and you have a great day.